All right, let's introduce our panel. Joining me on the show tonight, Ajay Dua, former Secretary, Ministry of Industry and Commerce in the Government of India, Devendra Surana, Director, Surana Ventures Limited, and Dilip Cherian, Communication Expert. Gentlemen, welcome to that. Let me go across to Devendra Surana at this point. Mr. Surana, of course, Ajay Dua is right in pointing out that our IITs are, clearly amongst the finest institutions in the world today, because these very engineering colleges have produced many of these CEOs that we are talking about today, who we are intensely proud of. But isn't this a sobering thought? I want to reiterate for you and our viewers some of these figures that have been submitted by the Government of India in Parliament in the ongoing winter session. Over 6 lakh Indians gave up their Indian citizenship for that of another country between 2016 and now, September 2021. More than 1 crore 33 lakh Indians are currently living in foreign countries. And I'm not even going into the extremely depressing and demoralizing current unemployment figures that we have here in India. But just to consider the fact that all these brilliant individuals that we're talking about happen to live abroad, none of them are here in India. Therefore, the question that we need to ask ourselves, whether we like it or not, is, did India fail to give these individuals the opportunities that they needed to scale the corporate summit, something that they've managed to do living abroad?
Thank you, Neha, for having me here. To give a simple answer to your question, Indians have always been brilliant. And I will try to break up the Indians into 3 generations. The first generation of Indians who graduated in 50s, 60s, all ended up as public servants, IAS officers, because that was the done thing in that era. And you would see that everybody at that level was individually brilliant, but the system did them in. The second generation of Indians, the brilliant Indians from 70s to maybe early 2000, were the engineers and the graduates who came out of good colleges, who all went to US because of lack of opportunity in India. After 20 years of moving to US, you come to your prime. And that's the reason today we are seeing of the high level of entrepreneurship, or the high level of people who have reached high positions after 20 years of reaching there. But if you see, and the reason why I say the glass is more than half full, is that today, in the last 15 years, there's so many opportunities in India. Like it has been mentioned about the unicorns, the startups which are happening today. Today, most of the Indians prefer to stay back in India because we have that opportunity in India today. So in the next 10 or 15 years, when these people come to their prime, you will see that they will be leading companies out of India, doing cutting edge work for the entire world. So I'm very, very confident. Indians have always been brilliant. And it is this reason, just that you didn't have the opportunity. And the first wave went into public sector and was messed up. The second wave went to US and other places where they flourish. The third wave is flourishing in India. Now, if you come to the question, why is it that we Indians are a little more brilliant than others? There's been a lot of talk around the world that diversity is what brings out innovation. And it is my thought and belief that, every Indian is brought up in such a diverse world. And I'm not talking about religious or cultural diversity. Just the fact that every Indian, when he grows up as a child, is learning 3 or 4 languages. Every kid in Mumbai knows Hindi, English, Marathi, and maybe Gujarati. And kid in Hyderabad, where 3 of the top 10 have come from my alma mater, the Hyderabad Public School. English, Hindi, Telugu, plus your mother tongue, which could be Tamil or Bengali or whatever.
I take your point, Devendra Surana. How would you respond to what you heard Rishikesh Kumar there telling us? He, of course, has been living in the US for a long time. While Dilip Cherian makes the point about how India, does lag behind countries like the US when it comes to technological advances, it is also about meritocracy. We may have amongst the finest institutions in the world that include the IITs and the IIMs, but does our meritocracy, in a sense, end there?
No, I think the point is very well put about the opportunities available in US. And that's where the opportunities have been for a very, very long time. And opportunities, the melting together of people from various places and meritocracy put together is what has taken US to the place where it is today. And absolutely, there is no question, there is no doubt that that is hitting the nail on the head. However, having said that, I will still go ahead and say that the opportunities and the meritocracy in the new startup era, which is happening in India, is getting there. We are still probably, the ecosystem is still maybe about 10 or 15 years behind the valley in the ecosystem for meritocracy.
Okay.
But we are getting there, and the opportunities, the way the world is becoming flatter, the opportunities in India are also there. And next 10 years, we are going to see companies just like the big ones in US coming out of India. I'm very, very clear and positive about that.
Well, clearly the unicorns of India, have contributed to the India success story in a big way. But I guess we can all agree that, even as we take pride in the success of these brilliant Indians who have clearly brought glory to us, we also need to pause and reflect for a moment on what India needs to do.